Good evening, morning, or afternoon. How is everybody? I see a few people in the chat already. That's always good to see. Let me know if you can hear me and see me. Hey, hey. Hello. Hello, my friends. Thank you very much for the happy birthday wishes already. Many of you remembered. It's very flattering indeed. Can you believe it? I'm only 29. That's not true. I'm 41. Okay. Thank you very much. Tenenwasser. I'm very, very good. Very excited to be here. My first ever live stream. Maybe really first ever. Hello, Clara, in your bathtub in Stockholm. Amazing. Okay, we'll just leave it a couple of minutes, let some people join, and then we'll kind of get started properly. And I'll just talk openly until then. So thank you again, Sharon. Good to see you in the live stream. So I have some talking points that I'll be talking through today. I've identified kind of 10 tenets of sobriety that are important to me. And I'm going to use that as a framework to just talk through for an hour or so. And send Doggo. Doggo will be here shortly, I'm sure. I just had a phone call with my family, a video call with my family. And the dog has been quiet and restful all day. As soon as I start talking, though, she wants to be involved. It's a major problem for work calls where I'm trying to make myself seem like a professional to clients and stuff. And then my dog is just chewing my shirt buttons off and stuff. Ms. 9549, apple juice with ice. It is, in fact, Canada Dry ginger ale, but good guess. Yeah, out of the dark. It's good to see you here, my friend. Yeah. You know what, before we get started, actually, I am going to address this thing about the upstating asks, can we talk about how much better our poops are after sobriety? Upstating, I think you asked that on the Patreon too. So I will address that very quickly, just before there are too many people here, so I don't say anything too offensive straight away. Pooping is amazing in sobriety. After such a long period of alcoholism where you're just pooping alcohol and water, and then you get constipated for so long, it's amazing to be able to poop. Thank you, upstating, for the, the talking point. That's a strange way to start. Okay, we are after kickoff time. It's 8 p.m. here, which is why it's a little bit darker than it is where you are. I have my mood lighting to set the atmosphere. I hope you enjoy it. And I'll keep my eye on the chat. So if there are any questions that come up as we go along, I will deviate from my kind of framework and address any questions as they come up. So it might be a little bit disorganized, but I hope you'll stay with me. To Jeff, less than an hour, I think, tonight. Darkness shrouding you in Latvia. Dark in Australia too. Yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't arrange a time for my Australian and Kiwi followers that suited everybody. But I might, if we do this regularly, I'll do them at different times throughout the day. Yeah, and Natasha, good to see you as well. 10 days sober after. Congratulations on your sobriety, and I hope the detox went well for you. Here we go. Let's stretch out. Okay, so just to form a backdrop to this, I thought that I would talk about some stuff that I find important for sobriety. Some of them beginning immediately in early sobriety, and then some of them emerging later after a period of sobriety. And So some of this is going to be useful at different stages and to different people throughout your recovery process. These are things that I all genuinely do. These are not kind of chat GPT generated. I've written these, and these will eventually form the framework for another book. But I just thought I'd test them out here and see how you feel. What I want to share with you what has been genuinely game-changing for my own sobriety. So the first one, radical honesty, right? None of these are new concepts, but I've kind of gathered them together as I've discovered that they've been really important to me. One of the things that sustained my own drinking was self-deception, lying to myself about how much I was drinking, and then that kind of spilling over into lying to loved ones and friends and family and colleagues, telling everybody I was fine and that I could handle it, when in fact I was an emotional mess. And kind of the self-deceit spilled over. And as I got more and more sober time, as I got closer and closer to the end of my drinking and then transitioned into sobriety, the ability to be honest about it with people became incredibly important. So one of the ways that works is, for me at least, telling people when I have an urge to drink. In the first year of sobriety, I was having urges pretty regularly, certainly in the first 9 months. And it faded away when the dreams stopped. Anybody else find that? Like, if you've had a stint of sobriety, you dream about alcohol and relapse just constantly, every night. And I wonder if, like me, once that stopped, once those dreams stopped, you started to feel more secure in your sobriety. And it all converged at the same time for me. So my dreams are still strong. Yeah, I still have them occasionally. Every time I've quit. Yeah, me too. And those dreams would bleed into my waking life too. And I would wake up feeling hungover. And I found once those faded away, my sobriety became stronger. And it came with this process of being more honest about things like urges, which I got regularly in the first 9 months. In fact, I had one today, which I might tell you about. A very weird one. But just at telling people that you have an urge or you're experiencing a craving. And that kind of honesty, admitting, it feels like the reason we struggle with it is because it's like admitting weakness. But it isn't really. Being able to admit to a gap in your security is actually a strength, in my opinion. I think we're stronger when we admit, like there's this phrase, it's in copywriting, I think, but there's this phrase about a weakness acknowledged becomes a strength. And that's been true for me. Being able to acknowledge the fact that my sobriety isn't always very secure, and telling people is part of this radical honesty. And it's also what Bad Country is largely about, is to keep myself accountable, to keep myself honest. And I hope that you believe me when I say I am sincere when I try to do that. I am hopefully honest as much as possible. And I tell you the ugly side as well as the positive side of sobriety. So that's my first one, radical honesty with people around me, and most importantly with myself about my recovery, when it's good, when it's not. The second one, extremely important for me, is the importance of having a system of sobriety, like a framework of understanding your own sobriety and your own drinking. Oh, wow. Thank you, Erland. First super chat. That's my first one ever. How about that? Thank you so much. That's very, very generous. The importance of having a system. Okay, so willpower, in my opinion, is important for sobriety, but it's not enough. You can't white knuckle your way through sobriety permanently. You can't. A lot of my sobriety is about looking it in the eye and acknowledging that I have a problem or that my sobriety is wavering, and just trying to muscle through. And that works most of the time for me, but not always. And it's really important to have a system, okay, of understanding your sobriety, for me. And what that system is less important, in my opinion, than just having one to stick to. So whether your system is spirituality, whether it's a spiritual system, whether it's the Bible, or whether it's AA, or it's smart recovery, a secular system, or it's a philosophical system, or it's an exercise regime, or it's Buddhism, which is kind of theological and philosophical. Whatever it is, it's more important that you have something that gives you some direction day to day. The reason why this is as important as willpower is, and as important as muscling through is, systems outperform motivation, right? So you can be motivated for a day or for a week, and you can be super enthusiastic about recovery and sobriety, but eventually that motivation will fade. Your convictions will change over time, and you will lose your energy as you go longer into sobriety. Systems don't do that. Systems don't break down. Systems are solid for as long as you need them. They're structural, and you can reinforce a system based on just the repetition of it. And that's been incredibly important for me. I'll tell you what my own system is, right? So I did AA in the early days of my sobriety. For the first year, I was pretty rah-rah for AA. I was pretty bought in. Not to the religious stuff, naturally. A lot of people like me have a problem with that side of it, but simply the turning up, right? That was my system. It was just turning up and doing the work, doing the homework. And then all of the other stuff like journaling and counting days, that all became part of a system. And I bounced around a few different systems. I tried SMART, I tried AA, I tried Refuge, which is a Buddhist system and deals with more than alcoholism. It's all addiction. But I fell into I kind of like squeezed out my own system, which is based on a combination of stoicism and existentialism. So what I'm saying is that, without boring you, my system is a philosophical one, which it does exactly the same as religious systems, except it's secular. And that's been working for me. And what that does is it provides me with the structure I need. Like, you go to bed at this time, you get up at this time, you have this much daylight, you go and do some negative visualization of the terrible and morbid outcomes of drinking. All of that, it comes together in a system that works for me. But whatever yours is, what's more important is that you have a system to stick to, because it will give you the structure you need to operate in recovery. I hope that's... I'm being deliberately broad here, not giving very much specifics, because I'll break all of these down into different live streams at some point. Each one will have a different theme. Let me catch up with some comments. Yeah, you need to try several. Mi amiga Iva. What do I think of Alan Carr's Stop Drinking Now? Well, I didn't finish it, to be honest. It didn't connect with me. It felt a little bit like self-help more than actual practical guidance. And Alan Carr's opinions on willpower don't connect with me either. The idea of getting sober with no willpower at all just clashes with my experience of it, to be honest. And because willpower has been so central to my own, and the sense of responsibility that comes with willpower has been crucial to my understanding of sobriety. So Alan Carr, I know it helps a lot of people, especially with quitting smoking. His work there is very good. But for alcoholism, for me, for my personality, it didn't really connect with me. I felt like I was reading Dianetics sometimes. If you know if you know, you know. What else do we have? Boogaloo, you're a problem. I see you in the comments. I might block you at some point. Yoga, tea, and cake aren't bad. Very true, Clara. Hole in the Sky program for agnostics. That's a very beautiful name, Upstating. Hole in the Sky. Oh, I might have to look into that. Okay, so let's do a couple more. This is branching off from the philosophy angle, and it's about emotional regulation. So a lot of the work, the practical side of Stoicism and existentialism is about it's in the Serenity Prayer. It maps perfectly onto existing frameworks of sobriety. And it's about having the serenity being a euphemism for emotional regulation, for peacefulness. And the Serenity Prayer states, give me the serenity to understand what I cannot change and change the things I can, and to know the difference. That's my kind of secular reading of it. And that's largely what emotional regulation means. For a long time, wow, thank you, John. That's so rewarding. I'm going to give you a big love heart. I'm glad to be looking well. I spoke with my family this morning. We had a birthday video call, and they all commented on that I was looking healthy. I'll give you behind the scenes secret here. I have a big light here, and I've put a blue filter over it because without it, my skin is incredibly red today. And so I looked really sunburned. So I've put a blue filter over my light to draw out some of the redness. That's how, I don't know, that's how brand conscious I am. That's so petty, I know, so unnecessary. Dan and Alf's Sober Swims. I am happy to see you here. I would recommend many of you go and follow Dan and Alf's Sober Swims. Another person doing well in recovery, and post when I'm talking about like doing things that make you slightly uncomfortable, Dan and Alf really do that stuff. They go and swim in freezing cold water and that kind of thing. It's great to see you doing so well, Dan, and happy to see you here. Not as sunburnt as riding through Xinjiang. I found a photograph of myself when in the middle of that journey, right? Out of the dark sobriety, another channel everyone should follow. And the whole time I'd been doing that journey, I was wearing a t-shirt, just a t-shirt and nothing else. I wore it every day. It was disgusting. It was like a black t-shirt, but it had been so much sweat had accrued in it that it was almost dyed white. And it came up to about here on my arm. And I took it off one day after I'd been cycling in the desert for about 3 weeks. And I was brown. I had a tan here, and then it was but sunburnt red here, and then it was my normal bright white up to my shoulder. And I looked like Neapolitan ice cream all the way down, just because I'm so bad at being in the sun. Anyway, emotional regulation. So most of us used alcohol as a coping strategy, right? Coping from one thing or another, coping and hiding from negative emotions. And a difficult thing in sobriety is learning that it's not good enough just to remove the substance. You also have to remove what that substance was doing for you. You have to remove the function of the substance too, or replace it. So because we were using alcohol as a coping strategy, it is my opinion that you have to do a lot of work to develop better ways to deal emotionally with the things that you were hiding from. And that involves things like learning what your emotional triggers are, like at times of day, or whether it's anger or boredom or loneliness, and learning to control your emotional responses to your situations, exactly as it says in the Serenity Prayer. Oh, Rory, thank you so much. All right, I'll deviate again since Rory has very kindly given a super like for some questions. All right, let's have some fun. Top 5 movies, foods, and places. Top 5 movies. In the Mood for Love, which is a Hong Kong movie from the mid-90s, based in the 60s Hong Kong. Listen to me, it's the most beautiful film, the most heartbreakingly beautiful film you'll ever see in your life. That's number one. And then there's a big long gap to the rest of the top five. So one of them will be Spirited Away, the Ghibli movie. Another would be Godfather 1 and 2, another very beautiful film, series of films. Interstellar has a big place in my heart. And Old Boy, the South Korean movie, which another stunningly beautiful movie, very twisty, kind of Shakespearean in a lot of ways, but very violent, very stylish. That number one, In the Mood for Love, that's unmovable. That will always be my number one. The other four are interchangeable. Top five foods. I'll just go by country. Japanese sushi is number one. Chinese street food, number two. Egg fried noodles, that kind of thing, just from a dirty wok, cooked by a man in a dirty vest with a cigarette in his mouth. It just doesn't get better. He just puts loads of MSG in the wok as he fries it. That's what I want. And increasingly, ice cream, mint chocolate chip is good for me. And then everything I cook for myself is Italian, so it's pasta and tomato sauce based. And then Greek. I live in Greece, in Cyprus, so a good chicken souvlaki goes a long way. And places, I'll run this off real quick. Shanghai, Zagreb, Kyrgyzstan. Number one is Kyrgyzstan. And then, tricky. Here, Cyprus. And a wild card for number five, let's say South Korea. There we go. I hope that answers your questions. Okay, back to my little list. Emotional regulation. Yeah, I think I've covered just about everything I can say there, but things like cold exposure, long walks, breathing exercises, all of these are designed to manage emotion and anxiety, because most of us drink to hide from that stuff. Yeah. So fourth, what's important to me, my fourth tenet of community, of sobriety, is community and connection. That is feeling connected to other people. That's important. Other sober people. I find that is the best thing that AA is for. Is not for their rigid approach to the steps, the 12-step program, although I know they work for many people in my audience, so I've got nothing negative to say. I won't be drawn on it. I won't be drawn on criticizing AA. I just won't. It doesn't help anybody. But one of the things that it's very good for is community building. Since I've left AA, since I've kind of walked away from it a little bit, I've had to do this. I've built my own community in order to replace the community that I've lost. And this is working like hell for me. This is the best decision I ever made, was running this channel for my sobriety. Absolutely astonishing. And you are all part of the community that keeps me sober. And I hope that that it's doing the same for you too. So what does community do? One thing that it does is it holds you accountable, right? Because it is possible to hold yourself accountable, and you have to do it to some extent. But really, it's useful to have an external force to hold you to account and say, here, listen, you fucked up here, or there's a potential risk point here. Addiction, as the saying goes, addiction thrives in secrecy. And having a community to keep you accountable, to keep you honest, is very valuable. I chose to build my own. Not everybody has that has that privilege to do that. But for me, it's working very, very well. It also allows me. Slayer's here? Slayer! Oh my God, it's so good to see you, my friend. Me and Slayer go back to the early days of doing this. And Slayer is one of my favorite people in this community. Amazing to see you here. Yeah, that's awesome. It made my day just being here on my birthday, Slayer. Thank you, mate. So isolation fuels relapse, right? This is why we go to AA. This is why we build communities and seek each other out. It's because while it is technically possible to do this alone, you could go and lock yourself away in a lodge in Siberia for 6 months and emerge sober on the other side with no internet and all of that stuff. But most of us don't have that kind of discipline. We're alcoholics. We're not we're not famous for our discipline and our self-control, right? So it's really important to have a network of people alongside you, standing shoulder to shoulder, who know what you're going through. It's also, for me, it's getting easier for an online community to replace an in-person one, but I would argue that it's not permanently possible and that you need real human contact from time to time. So yeah, that's community and connection. Let's go for number 5 in my 10 tenets of sobriety. An alcoholic with a posh voice. Thank you, Cudsy. Yeah. Don't let the posh voice trick you. Even in sobriety, I'm still an idiot. Don't think just because I have a posh accent, I'm right about everything. My 5th tenet is identity. And I've left this one typically broad because I'm not exactly sure what it means yet. But it's about figuring out whether you're the kind of person who needs to make sobriety your identity, like I have, or whether you need to figure out what your identity is and let sobriety be in the background. Not everybody needs sobriety to be front and center like I do. A lot of you it will be safer for your sobriety to be in the background where you're not always talking about it. Because with doing what I do comes a lot of risk. I think about alcoholism more than an alcoholic does. For example, and that doesn't, to some people, that sounds like a very dangerous position to be in. For me, it is working, at least for now. But that doesn't mean it will permanently. So identity, I'm of the opinion, again, speaking slightly philosophically, that alcoholism is, thank you, Phil W. That means a lot. I'm going to give that another love. I didn't know this was going to happen, to be honest. I wasn't expecting it. I never expected this channel to be successful. But the fact that people will give me actual money just for showing my face and talking nonsense for an hour is pretty humbling. So yeah, I believe that alcoholism is an issue of identity. Not completely. That's not all it is, but. A lot of us struggle. We start to drink at times when our identity is challenged. Like I started when I was 14, that's because I was having an identity shift. I was an alcoholic straight away. People go through massive life upheavals, things that attack their basic integrity, like grief. It leaves you thinking, who am I without this person? That is an issue of identity. There are lots of other things, the way that identity intersects with alcoholism. But what it means is figuring out what your identity is in sobriety, because for so long, alcohol has been our identity. We're the big drinker in the group. We're the fun, crazy party person. Or we're the lonely... Thank you, Blitz Breakdown Chess. That's amazing. A chess channel following me. God, who'd have thought it? Thank you very much for that. Radio Girl says, I've come to believe you have to get addicted to sobriety. That is a controversial, but an opinion that I personally agree with. I think it's very healthy. It's like damage limitation to become addicted to a healthy thing. And one of the things that you need to do that is understand what your identity was. Like, who is it around you? Who knows you as what? Were you the big drinker? How do you transition from that to being a person who doesn't drink? And what part of your identity do you need to leave behind, and what do you need to carry through into sobriety? These are difficult challenges for us because a lot of us struggle with our identity anyway, which is I did. I was supposed to be, I thought I was this big, outgoing, big drinking, hard drinking, Irish-ish kind of force of nature with alcohol. I could drink everybody under the table. And then I got sober and I realized that I was none of those things. What I really was not this big, hard drinking extrovert. I was a very private person, very introverted. And the alcohol had been a lie the whole time. And that's been a big realization to me. And it left me, like, getting sober. This is why I struggled for so long to get sober, is because I didn't know what to do with myself after it. After so many years of alcohol being my identity, being forced to stop because I was going to die, left me trying to figure out exactly who I was without it. That's why I say that alcohol recovery is it's about identity. You have to do a lot of work on who you really are, because cutting off alcohol will leave you standing alone in the dark when you stop. Number 6, personal responsibility. All right. So this is where, as much as I said, I'm not critical of AA publicly, I would say that I take issue with the very first talking point in AA, which is that you have no control, that you have to surrender control to a higher power in AA. I have the opposite opinion, which is that you do have some influence over your drinking, even as an active alcoholic. And in sobriety, even when you're trying to get sober, you have to take personal responsibility over your drinking. You have to. Thank you, Out of the Dark. Thank you, Out of the Dark Sobriety. That means a lot coming from you. I've really enjoyed the honesty that you've brought to your channel too. And I watch all of your stuff. I know that you're just getting started, but I think that you offer a unique perspective with your military background and that kind of thing, and your outdoorsiness. You offer a kind of counterpoint to my own approach. And I really look forward to seeing where you take your channel in the future. Okay, so taking responsibility of your own decisions is crucial. And at some point in sobriety, you have to acknowledge that, yes, none of us chose to be an alcoholic. None of us, very few of us, choose to throw ourselves into alcoholism. But I would argue that if you're sober, if you've been getting sober and you take a drink, that first drink is always a choice. And that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about responsibility. It can be nothing else, right? It's kind of an uncomfortable truth, because advocating for self-responsibility can feel a little bit like blaming alcoholics for their alcoholism. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm trying to advocate for is the understanding that if you take a drink after a period of sobriety, you never had a choice to be an alcoholic. You were going to be one. It was inevitable for you. However, that first drink after a stint of sobriety, you're choosing to do that because you can choose not to. That's why that's a choice. And understanding that you have agency in this stuff. Thank you very much, Harry. What an absolute treat, an unexpected treat. That's not why I'm doing this, I promise. I'm doing this because it's my birthday and I wanted to hang out with some like-minded people. But taking responsibility is important. And that is the major place where I diverge from AA, is on that one point. And it makes, if they could change that bit, I could be completely comfortable with everything else. That is more important than the other thing that people have hang-ups about, is that I'm of the opinion that you need to grab this thing by the scruff of the neck and hold it against the wall and look it in the eye and say, I didn't choose to do this, but I am doing this to myself. The two contradictory positions can exist at the same time. And there's a lot of positivity in that. It's a lot of affirmation that you have power, that you have some power in this. Instead of saying, why me? Why is this happening to me? You get to say, what now? What can I do about this in this moment? And that makes you feel powerful. You know, facing up to your problems and understanding that you do have some responsibility. It restores your personal dignity. Okay, so having a choice and acknowledging it, this makes such a big difference in my own sobriety, that acknowledging that I have some agency in it gives me some dignity back. And it contrasts so much with the version of me that felt like I had no choice, who was lying on the floor, on the hard floor of my apartment with a half-empty bottle of vodka, crying, covered in a puddle of piss and vomit, just lying there pathetic, feeling powerless. Now, I'm the same person as that guy, but because I know that I have some agency, I have some dignity back. Getting excited. I will talk in, as you can see, this one is important to me. Okay, the seventh tenet. Oh, thank you. And dog. Thank you very much. That's beautiful. I'm going to read this in full. Well done on the 30K and happy birthday. Your channel came into my life just when I needed it and had a big hand in helping me take the right path. Thank you very much for saying that. I never, ever take it for granted when someone says something like that to me. It means a huge amount. And every single time I hear it, it makes my own sobriety that degree stronger. Thank you very much. Okay, so the seventh tenet, physical restoration. I'm also of the opinion, and since this is my live stream, I'm just sharing opinions really, that some element of physical focus is beneficial to the emotional recovery too. So what I mean, like to sum it up slightly more motivational speakery than that, strengthening the body strengthens the mind, right? And I think that you have to let your body heal and encourage it to heal in order for your emotional recovery to heal. So I'm talking about very simple things here, nothing revolutionary. One is sleep. Sleep will heal you. And having a healthy sleep pattern of going to bed at a set time and getting up at a set time allows you to do a lot of neurological healing, which in turn helps you to heal emotionally. And aside from sleep, it's also diet, although my own diet recently has been pretty crap. But, you know, lots of protein and nutrient-dense foods. You can treat yourself. I know that a lot of us go through major sugar urges. I did. I missed a sugar of alcohol when I got sober. So I just gorged on Haribo and sweets and candy and stuff. And that's fine. Don't beat yourself up for that. But in the long term, lots of lean meat, if you're a meat eater, or nutrient-dense vegetables if you're a vegetarian, and supplements. I take a lot of supplements, mostly creatine is the big one that informs my recovery. But sleep, food, and strength training, and cardio as well. Like, so running and weight training are all going to strengthen your body and allow you to strengthen your mind too. Again, nothing revolutionary. This is all pretty obvious stuff. Number 8, reflection. As I consider it, the main thing I'm talking about here is negative visualization, which is the process of allotting time to sit down and being grateful for what you have by imagining your life if you didn't have it. Right? That's negative visualization summed up. But it's bigger than that. Reflection is like reflecting on the shitty things that you did, really. Taking time to face up to the uncomfortable truths, the horrible shit that you said and did, and the hurtful things that you said and did. setting time aside to just quietly remember those sounds morbid, but it's very effective for preventing you from doing it again. Like, and I mean, be specific with this stuff. Remember the horrible things you said to your parents or to your spouse or to your kids or to the cops or whatever, and just sit with it. Allow yourself to feel bad about it. Don't try to stamp out that emotion. Allow yourself to feel bad about the people that you hurt, and specifically what it was that hurt them. Read old text messages, that kind of thing. It's a deeply uncomfortable thing to do, but it makes you stronger in the long run. And you have to do this consciously. See you later, Clara. Thank you for your input and for your support earlier on. And things like, there's simple ways to do this. Like, you have to set time aside to really do this. This takes conscious effort. Set time aside in your schedule, 15 minutes, half an hour, to think about the shitty stuff that you did and the shitty stuff that might happen in the future if you go back to it. Right? Do the journaling. Journaling is good for understanding your thought processes and so on. Number 9, I'm going to run through number 9 quickly, just so I can actually hang out with you guys. Number 9 is purpose, bringing purpose into your life. So alcohol, for me, filled that void that would otherwise be purpose. It kept me stuck to my chair, stuck in my bed, and avoiding finding whatever my purpose was. This is summed up really simply in a sentence. You have to build the kind of life that you don't want to escape from. That's it. That's what it comes down to. Because alcohol is an escape for us. And you have to make your life something you don't want to escape from. I feel like I'm plagiarizing from somebody when I say that. I feel like a million people more qualified than me have said this before. But if you steal from one person, it's plagiarism. If you steal from many, it's research. So let's just consider this. Let's consider this research, right? Oh, thank you so much, Chris. That's amazingly grateful. I'm really, really grateful that you are grateful. And remember, I didn't do any of this. If you've got sober, you did it, right? So as much as I am tempted to take credit for all of your progress, it was you that did it. So congratulations. Make some time to be proud. Okay, and finally, I've put here vigilance. And this is the importance of having your shields up when it comes to sobriety. Not having a little gap in your armor that might sneak alcohol back into your life. Not making deals with yourself that you might drink again when you retire, or if you get a terminal disease. You have to be vigilant, and you have to understand that alcoholism will always be trying to get back into your life, and it will not be negotiated with. I'm obsessed with it. You don't have to be. But it means being wary of the cunning and baffling nature of alcoholism, how it will manipulate you into drinking again, and being aware of the subtle signs that you might be sliding towards a relapse. And that's where I'm going to leave my pre-prepared little statements. I will break all of these down into their own live stream or videos in the future. With that said, I just kind of want to hang out with you, to be honest. I'll drink my ginger ale and spend time with you and read some comments. Let's catch up a little bit. And what have we got to? Yeah, thank you, Chris. DT Sobriety. I'm going to check out your channel and have a look at it after I've finished. Yeah, vitamin D, we're all deficient. That's very true. I take vitamin D as a supplement, and vitamin B. I also recommend vitamin B or a vitamin B complex, because vitamin B or thiamine, you have to get it prescribed in a lot of places, but your brain will be crying out for it, especially in early sobriety. What else do we have? 2 months sober today from Jeremy Ward. Congratulations, Jeremy. 2 months is a big deal. You're over the hardest part. Try to make it to 3 months, just to feel a little bit more secure. Who's the bell end, Somatic? I don't see anyone being a bell end right yet. I'm sorry if there's someone upsetting the chat. There's bound to be a few trolls in here, but hopefully it's not too disruptive. I'll look out for it now that I'm back checking the comments. Okay. Yeah, Theamine, let's stay sober. I'll check out your channel as well. Anyone with sobriety in their channel kind of gets an instant follow if I'm not already. Oh, thank you for some specifics here, mi amiga. Oh, is it Boogaloo? Yeah, I figured, I said at the start I was probably going to have to boot him at some point. Removed. Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have caught that earlier. I should have just done it when I said I was going to. But there we go. B complex, yes. Do not address trolls. No, that one's gone. Boogaloo, of course. I struggled very hard. This is from Rogue Hero. I struggled very hard trying to quit, but keeping the same routine at night now that I am understanding that I have to change everything about my life, including my routine, to have success. Well said, Rogue Hero. I'm glad that you've learned that early on. Oh, thank you, TJ. Found your channel in November when I was thinking about getting sober, then quit with the help of your videos, and now working on 3 months. Congratulations, TJL. Get to that 3 months, and thank you for that super like. I will set it aside and use it on the channel. Thank you so much, and congratulations. And Ashley C too. You're doing a great thing with this channel. Happy birthday. We love you. I love you all too. Thank you so much for that contribution to the channel. I will use it wisely, I promise. DTS Sobriety, I'll follow up with your channel shortly. You're saying just starting channel, building up the courage to actually make a video. That first one's a big leap, and it takes a while to gain momentum. So just focus on the content. Don't focus on the audience so much. Just say what it is you want to say, and that's how you build up a community. Joshua says, I'm quitting kratom and your videos help. Congratulations on quitting kratom. I have to be honest, I've never tried it, and I think I will steer clear myself. Tenenwasser, 22 months from alcohol, 22 months sober. Now cigarettes. I can't seem to stop smoking. A lot of people tell me that quitting smoking is harder than quitting alcohol. I think quitting alcohol is certainly more dramatic because the stakes are higher. It's easier to quit in a sense because you kind of have to. Otherwise, you'll die quickly. Whereas smoking, the damage is done much more slowly. For what it's worth, Tenenwasser, I haven't been a smoker for years and years and years. I switched to vaping. It's about damage limitation, and that's been okay for me. Don't be too hard on yourself if you're struggling to quit smoking. I love Nicorette. I chew the hell out of really strong Nicorette on flights. I love Nicorette. I even think it tastes nice. I use it. Also, athletes use Nicorette. Oh man, I'm really behind the comments. Yeah, athletes chew Nicorette because nicotine itself is not particularly harmful. It's a little bit toxic, but it also gives you an energy release. And like you can see professional sprinters covered in nicotine patches and that kind of thing. David Lafond, you've been with me for ages. And says, you have 3 months of sobriety. That's a big threshold. Congratulations, David. It's good to see you in the comments. Natasha, you want to escape to a warm country. The ocean, Bali is on the list. Yeah, a lot of people in sobriety retreat to Bali. There's a big sober community there. Interestingly, there's another one in Costa Rica. There is a thriving society of sober people in Costa Rica, and they have a nomad visa that's easy to achieve, easy to get. I was thinking about Bali instead of Cyprus, but instead I chose Cyprus. Dan, yeah, Boogaloo making a fool of himself. I'm going to have to block him entirely the next time he's back. I see him in Rick's in Sober Starts comments. I think Rick has taken the wise step of blocking him as well. Where are we? I've given up nicotine. I just can't seem to. Yeah, don't beat yourself up about it. I know that smoking is deeply unhealthy, and will ultimately be no good for you, etc. But you can't. We've got to have some bad habits, right? We can't all just immediately become monks. Not sure how from Counting Stars, not sure how the weather is where you are. Are you planning on going on an outdoor adventure today with your pup? Hope it's a refreshing day for you. It's already dark here, so no more adventures today for my birthday, but we went out for a long walk this morning. She got to run around in some long grass. Where is she? I think it's too dark for you to see her. I wonder if I've got a torch somewhere. Hang on one second. I'm sorry, I was trying to grab a torch so I can shine a light on my dog. You can just about make her out in the background here. You can see her little white feet. She knows I'm talking about her. She just looked up. But yeah, it's been a great birthday spent with the dog. But no plans to go out. I plan to, it's quite cold here at the moment, but I plan to take her camping once the weather improves. Congratulations on pronouncing Kratom correctly. It was a guess. Oh, Stu, it's Denny. Hello. I love UFOs. Thank you for the happy birthday wishes. It's good to see you here over from the Patreon. I'm not going to do any plugging or advertising for that at the moment. I feel like I push it too hard as it is. What else do we have? Here's an interesting question from Lee James. What would one glass of vodka do to you? I'll repeat that. What would one glass of vodka do to me? Okay, fascinating. Let's do this thought experiment together. I would like you to all answer this as well. What would the drink that you were drinking, what would it do to you? And then we'll wrap up for the evening. Oh, as a military helicopter flies over my house again. Okay, so one glass of vodka would ruin my life, undoubtedly. So here's why. My body was dependent on alcohol for so long that any amount of alcohol, above a certain threshold, any amount of alcohol immediately kind of conditions me to drink more. That's what it is. One glass of alcohol will inevitably and without any ambiguity will lead to a bottle for me. It will be like that for the rest of my life. My body will immediately remember the alcohol and I will crave more. So I'm sure my tolerance is probably still quite high. And it wouldn't get me drunk. It would have the opposite effect. It would make me want to get drunk because you have one and then your brain goes, well, the damage is done now. You may as well have all of it. As Out of the Dark Sobriety says, and I agree, it would lead to a week-long bender, never drawing a sober breath, driving to and work drunk, and all the macabre things that it can bring. Me too. That's exactly what it is. Andorg says, if I was drinking on my ADHD medication, which make it harder to feel drunk, possibly not a lot. Without those, it would put me in a very dangerous position. Yes, a slippery slope we're all familiar with, says Catnip Fiend. And that is I think that is where I'm going to leave this stream. Nearly an hour in, and I feel like I've done one sip of alcohol, one sip too much. Absolutely. Wolf Casper, have you ever played GeoGuessr? Interestingly, I love GeoGuessr. Yeah, I paid for a subscription and everything. Anyway, look, that's a side point. Look, I want to thank everybody who is here today, who decided to join me on the. Thank you so much. Now for wrath, now for ruin. Now for wrath, now for ruin. Found your channel last summer when I was starting to realize I needed to stop drinking. It was a massive help in the first few weeks and still is. Happy birthday. Thank you so much for that. Now for wrath. Excellent name. And I recognize, of course, the profile picture you're using. I should have said Lord of the Rings was so powerful when someone asked me about the movies. Lord of the Rings trilogy also. I know it word for word. Look, blah. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And as always, good luck out there. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Have a good evening.